When we talk about the threat to the United States, do I believe that Iran has the capacity to hit the United States with a military attack, let alone with a nuclear weapon? The answer most likely is no. The bigger threat, however, is to our high stake partners in the region and also our national security interests and our current positioning in places like Europe, in Asia, in even the Middle East. Um, the other factor we have to look at here is that the American people do not like the idea of the possibility of military another military offensive that involves American troops and American lives possibly being lost. We just got out of the situation in Afghanistan, the situation in Iraq. The American people are kind of tired of constant military operations involving American military personnel. The other factor we have to look at also is the fact that um, Israel does not have the capacity, or even I would say the will, to be able to lead an offensive military action against a strong adversary such as Iran. It doesn't make military sense. When you are already stretched very thin in your military operations in Gaza, you are already stretched very thin in your military operations into southern Lebanon and central Lebanon. Uh, that puts the Israeli Defense Forces at a disadvantage. So you're going to go on and take on a larger military organization in Iran. Where do you have the strength of the military, or the strength or the ability to take on that role as lead while still fighting in Gaza and Lebanon against Hamas and Hezbollah? There's another nuance here that we have to look at is, the key players and our friends in the region. Are we going to see pressure put on from President Sisi? Are we going to see the Emir in Qatar? Are we going to see, the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia or the Emirates or even Oman, who is now part of this negotiation triumvirate that was announced last week in the Oval Office? Are the Omanis going to be comfortable with a provocation coming out of Donald Trump? There are so many factors that are in play that Donald Trump has to be very careful that he is writing checks that our military and our regional partners are not going to be able to catch. That being the case, I think Benjamin Netanyahu is going to have some dialogue and some input saying, be very careful how far you push the envelope in provoking Tehran, because while they can't get to you, they can get to us, and they pose a very direct threat. And the same thing could be said about the Jordanians and everybody else in the Gulf states. Again, I go back to my comment: is it doesn't make sense.